I'm about to chat to Rita Clifton, basically the queen of brand. She was the vice chairman of Saatchi & Saatchi. She was the chair lady of Interbrand, a phenomenally huge brand agency. And she was also the co-founder of BrandCat. Basically, what this woman doesn't know about brand isn't worth knowing. Recorded a podcast with her last year, and we have the most fantastic conversation about the real nuts and bolts of building a brand. She's a wonderfully kind woman, and she has agreed to share with us some fantastic tips in this time where we all need to focus on our brand more than ever. And I just cannot wait to talk to her.
Hello, my name is Rita Clifton, and I'm really looking forward to speaking to the fantastic Holly. Today, I'm hoping that Holly and I are going to talk about how we can all, as small, medium, any size businesses, really make sure that we get through these current really difficult, unprecedented circumstances, and not only survive, but also really come out the other side in a better shape and ready to succeed. I also hope I'm going to be talking a bit to Holly about my new book, which is going to be launched in the summer. So a lot more about that later. I love small businesses. I love the high street. I love online, of course, as well. But my mum and dad were shopkeepers, and I loved working in the shop on the weekends and the school holidays and everything else. So these things are very close to my heart. So long live small businesses and long live everybody who's in them. So looking forward to speaking to you, Holly. Thanks very much.
Hello.
There she is. Welcome.
Thank you. You look amazing.
I'm trying to bring a bit of colour into everyone's lives at the moment. And yes, it's getting a bit OTT at the moment, but I'm enjoying it. Rita, so many people today already know of you because they are avid listeners of the podcast, Conversations Inspiration. We had that fantastic chat. But today I would absolutely love, because I was just waxing lyrical about everything that you have done in the past and sort of the queen of branding. But before we get into this, I just wanted to ask you personally, your industry. I'm finding it very interesting talking to experts about what's happening in your world. Tell me about how you are at the moment and your sort of industry and world.
What's interesting there is that people do want advice, but actually they may not need a project, or they might not be able to engage with a project at the moment because their operations are frozen, or they lose people and so on. So I think what's interesting for me is that some businesses I'm involved with are exploding. I mean, they're really, really busy and successful. And other types of business are sort of frozen. I think for the first couple of weeks of this lockdown, so many organizations are thinking, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. They're shocked and frozen. And it's taken them a couple of weeks to think now, okay, breathe. How can we survive? How can we adapt? And how can we build? And those three things, in my view, are exactly what every business needs to do right now. Get sorted about how you're going to survive. Are you going to get money from the government? Are you going to borrow? I mean, what are you going to do to survive? You've got to try and adapt or think about, what can I do online? And also to build your brand profile and equity, because now is the time to really be generous, to connect with people, to be human, to help people. You might not get your greatest hit of revenue right now, but you really can build your goodwill. And some companies are doing that really well, and others, as we would have seen, have been doing that really badly. So I'm hoping that the people who are listening to you right now will be in the good guys and girls department, really connecting, with customers and also with their communities.
Because I think what happened, wasn't it, that we will never not be prepared again. Because, big business, now we've had this shock, businesses will be very mindful of setting themselves up for it. But those first few weeks, if you're a big organization, you've got to just deal with the manpower. Where is everybody? Does everyone have laptops? Does everyone forget actually what your messaging or sales or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really good, if there is good come out of this. I was talking to someone yesterday and they were saying, all the studies show that as a business, if you spend and invest in your brand through a recession, you'll come out the other side. I just go, that's true. You can get ahead if you've got money, if you can invest, if you've got money to spend. If you're a small and medium-sized business and you are in a fight for survival, at least in the short term, frankly, the last thing you're going to be thinking about is spending money that you might not have.
And I just wanted to ask there, so we're saying about money, and we're saying about, so we, you know, the last thing small businesses want to do is try and spend money that they are, you know, freaking out that they don't have it, and they're trying to save, and they've gone for a loan and it's not come through, all these sorts of things. But you and I know, and this is where your expertise would just be so welcome, is that there's so much about brand that's for free, isn't there? There's so much that you can do.
There is so much you can do. And actually, the key thing, if you're a small business, the key thing you can do is yourself. You can set the example for what your company stands for, what your brand stands for. You can make sure you can describe your brand in a really, really clear way. How you treat people, how you treat your own staff to make sure they're going to be ambassadors for you in the future. Do you treat them well? Are you helping them? You know, are you supporting them in their family? Are you creating the right environment, even virtually, where they still feel connected to what you're doing as a business, and you're keeping up morale? However you're feeling inside, you've got to radiate, you know, the kind of positivity that is going to help your business forward. So you can do a lot. And there's a couple of examples, you know, I don't know if anyone who's got their own hairdressing business, for example, might, you know, be tuning in. But so I'm not going to be, you know, mentioning many names, but I do know there are some very, very nice hairdressing salons who just said, when everything was closed down, "It's so sorry, we're going to have to close the salon down. We'll be back in touch," you know, at some point when things, and you just go, hang on a minute, what does that mean? You know, right, what does that mean? You know, if I need, you know, if I've got grey roots, or, you know, I've got a problem with hair growth, I mean, all of those things, you want someone who's been helping you on something so personal to say, do you know, we're going to adapt our offer. You might not be able to come into the salon, but two things, we're going to send you out kits. We're going to send you out emergency kits. And what's more, I'm going to do a Zoom with you to show you what to do. You know, there are any number of ways in which you can adapt your offer.
So it's so interesting, those examples, Rita, because that's the thing. Someone that I knew, a guy that owned a little skincare salon. He has now taken it online. He's now adapted his offer. He now does tutorials. He also will do a one-on-one, and he's now got the skincare license so that he can sell it online after doing a sort of one-on-one consultation. And he's completely adapted. And this is the moment where, wouldn't you agree, we will remember the people, you know, these companies, the ones who stand out right now, the ones where I actually get to see him giving me that skincare advice, that hairdresser that reaches out to you, as you said, you've got a personal issue. These are the ones that we'll remember on the other side.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I think that, you know, what's interesting is we'll also remember the otother people too. I mean, because obviously there are people who are doing lovely things like, you know, the personal trainers and the hairdressers, and the people who are delivering to their community. They're repurposing their kitchens and delivering to, you know, people who are stuck at home, who have to shield themselves because they're over a certain age. We will remember those, and equally we will remember the people, mentioning no names, but Weatherspoons, for example, where they didn't look after their people. You know, they didn't say the right thing, and I know there's been an apology and things like that, but I think we will remember. I think this time we will remember, and that's why it's an opportunity, in my view, at this time to build your brand, not by spending a lot of money, but by being brilliant, by being generous, by really being ingenious and thinking about how can you adapt your offer in a way that is truly going to help your customers, your community, and everything else. That's how you can really, really get ahead.
Can you tell me 3 things that you would say that small businesses right now, 3 things should concentrate on to strengthen their brand?
Okay. So the 3 things I'd say, number 1 is look after your staff. Love your staff. And obviously there's a financial support thing here, but also there is a helping them feel, you know, good and confident and so on about the future. Because as you know, particularly in a small company, Your staff can either be your greatest ambassadors, or they can be real detractors if you're not looking after them properly, and they will be scared and nervous and everything like that. So number one, in my view, absolutely, Mum, is look after your staff, even if you've got a tiny staff. And frankly, even if you're the staff, you need to look after you need to look after yourself and your health as well as your wealth. So number one, look after the staff. Number two, of course, is absolutely, obsess about your customers. Talk to them, adapt your offer. Make sure that you are delivering it in a way that helps them, either getting it to their homes, giving them advice online, packing up little things, being generous, reusing your time or your resource if it's not used for the immediate things. And then the third thing is about looking after your community, broader community, because that's going to be the place for your future customers and where you can really build your franchise. Businesses, small, medium and large, we can be heroes. And the thing I really feel strongly about the future of business generally, both locally and also globally, is we need an awful lot more rescuer brands, savior brands, who put something back into the community, the environment, from a social and economic point of view.
Okay, so a question I've got for you is from my Habbox UK. For e-commerce, what do you think we can do, as we already are online? Do you think there is something that we can do in addition?
Well, if you are online, and you can think about innovating around your online offer. It depends what you're selling. I mean, if you're selling products, how about selling delivery of your products too? How about selling, inverted commas, or even just featuring how you can use those products in a different way? All of these are ways in which we need to make sure people think flexibly about what sector they're in, because some people might go, I'm just selling perfume here, whereas actually you might think about selling a service around different fragrances and how they suit different people, for example, giving them editorial advice. Thinking about doing what you're doing, Holly, actually, is talking to people, interviewing people, showing new ideas. I mean, any of these things might be possible. And I think if you are in an online business at the moment and you're selling one category, you might think about wrapping a service around that category. Or if people love you for selling that category, what about a category next to that? Expanding your business in that way. And the other thing I often feel is really, really underused is asking your customers to recommend you to other customers, because that is very cheap marketing. If you are doing a great job and your customers love you, and by the way, it works with your staff as well. If your staff generally love what they do, they will tell other people and ask them to. I'm not sure that we ask enough of our customers to recommend us to other customers, and you can give them little free gifts to say, as a vote of thanks. You can do get member incentives. There are many, many different ways you can grow your business. I was just talking to someone the other day, and it was a coffee shop that was, delivering it, because it couldn't invite people in, but it was doing takeaways and also doing some deliveries. And I said, to expand your it, what about sending out leaflets with your deliveries, so that you're asking them to recommend you, or talk about you online, on Facebook to their friends, or something of that kind. So asking your customers if you're doing a good job. I mean, obviously it doesn't work if customers don't love you.
I want to ask Rita, you very kindly sent me the first draft of something you're working on. Tell us about it.
Oh yes. Well, obviously, there's a way to go before it gets launched properly. But I'm launching my new book in the summer, and the book is called Love Your Imposter, and the subtitle is Be Your Best Self, Flaws and All. And the reason I think this is so important is because of some of the things we talked about, which is we need to make business more human. We need to make business more human. We need to make sure that actually we see business in society, not business and society, as though it's somehow a separate thing. And that's also code, not very subtle code, for saying we need a much better gender balance at the top of organisations. We need a better balance of chemistry, 50-50 ideally, up and down organisations. And by the way, this applies to guys as well as for women, because a lot of guys I work with, they love having a much better gender balance. And the world is still, the institution of the world is still absolutely dominated in a way that is, guys running things rather than women. And I think we need a better balance. And what I'm saying in the book is that actually there's a lot we can all do to help ourselves end up running things if that's what we want to do, because we need more humans running organizations, and it's a human thing to feel a sense of imposter.
Rita, everyone should listen to your podcast on Conversations of Inspiration, because Rita is just phenomenal. We spoke for about an hour on the podcast and it was just brilliant, and so has this. From behalf of myself and this business community, thank you for your time, and wish you and your family all the safety, and hopefully we'll all get our hair dyeing kits soon and we will feel a lot better.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you, Rita.
Fantastic to see you. Best of luck with everything, and goodbye, everybody.
Well, thank you, Rita. That was phenomenally fantastic, great advice for us all to take away. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank NatWest Dell 3 and Royal Mail for tirelessly not only supporting this community but helping me bring these sorts of things to life, and to bring the whole SME SOS brand, we were talking about brand, the whole thing to life. So thank you so much.